Some of your merch. Are you going to have any coming out soon? Oh, we don't have. Let me get the link. Right? I can just. What does it sound? Go away. Oh, that's PewDiePie playing. Normally I would watch the video, but this time I'm going to chat with y'all. I want to see how easy I can share that video over. Stupid autoplay always ruining my game. Okay. The next stream, does that work? Live now. I'm going to tell the chat so that y'all can come over. Hello, hello. Greetings. How was your vacation? Nice background. Hey, sorry, it's not done yet. I'm still moving in. This is not my permanent background. This is my very, very quickly done background. The background is literally nothing. It's just what happens to be in the room right now. The background you saw in the video you just watched was is what I'm looking at right now. My office has been arranged differently this time. I always like to mix things up when I move things around. Did you design the place? No, we didn't build our own house. We looked at a ton of houses and decided that this one was the best for our needs. It's nothing fancy, but we like it a lot, and we're still getting acclimated to it. Notice Minecraft. Where's the Minecraft torch? What are you looking at? I don't see it. Project Stardust is him destroying the Death Star. Yeah, that would be cool if I could do that. Sorry to disappoint everybody who thought it was a Death Star. No, Taylosive did not build a small moon-sized spaceship. So, yeah. Want to buy some merch? Are you going to have any coming out soon? I don't have any designs planned currently. So if there's a design you like that's on the store right now, that's probably going to be the most current design that's available, because I'm still very, very busy with a million other things between setting up the house and moving and getting everything officially moved in. It's a space station. Sorry, Wyatt. I forgot. Behind you next to the white cabinet. Next to the white cabinet? You mean the microphone? Is that what you're talking about? I get to use my shotgun microphone again. The audio in the last office was always so messed up because the floor was made of tile, so it made everything super echoey. And now we finally have a carpet floor again, which is good for several reasons. For one, it's like if a phone slips out of your pocket when you sit down, it won't break because it's not falling on tile anymore. But also just for the sake of sound, it's much better. And yes, we're working on the office and the house right now, just putting everything where it needs to go. That's going to take a while. Once everything is in its place and everything is set up, then we will do the office tour and the house tour. But my first official tech video from the new place should be later today, probably right after this live stream. I'll do a tech video and upload it as soon as I can. So as much as you guys have seen tech videos come out while I've been gone, I'm back. For me, this has been a long time. It feels like it's only been 2 weeks, but personally it feels like I've been gone for months because my trip to the Philippines was like time moved very, very slowly there because there was not as many things to kill time with as there are here. Like when I'm working and I'm making videos and stuff, 2 weeks does not feel like a long time. But when you don't have internet and you don't have TV and you don't have any form of entertainment and you're just doing stuff throughout the day, time moves very, very slowly. So it feels like I've been gone for a month, even though it's not been that long. Yeah, I've got all kinds of tech videos I gotta get back into. I gotta work on an Apple Card video, which I'm gonna go full on complete Apple sheep with the Apple Card. By the way, I think everyone who disses on the Apple Card completely misses the purpose of it. I've seen way too many videos of people dissing the Apple Card, and they're always Amex Gold Platinum users, and it's like that. It's the equivalent to someone saying hey, I want to try the new MacBook Air, and I have a maxed out MacBook Pro, and I say, no, the maxed out MacBook Pro is way better than the MacBook Air. It's so backwards, the people who are criticizing the Apple Card. None of the people I've seen criticize the Apple Card are Tier 2 credit card users. I'm the Tier 2 credit card user demographic because I'm trying to acknowledge that there are people out there who aren't interested in paying money to use their card. And also there's people out there who talk about points, and points are great and you get way more points. Whereas that is in itself a mind trickery more than itself is just signing up for the Apple Card. But we'll get into all that in a video later. But you moved to the Mushroom Kingdom or something? Yes, B Rabbit. Thank you for the super chat. I did move to the Mushroom Kingdom. That's my new location. How was the Philippines? It was. Thank you for asking. I was hoping someone would bring that up. It was quite the experience. In a lot of ways, while it was a vacation of like being departed from work, it was not like your classic staying at a resort type um like vacation, like where you're at the pool and you're tanning and you're at the beach. For one, we almost didn't make it back. There's a huge story about that. The time it took us from leaving the house we were staying at in the Philippines, which was, by the way, under construction. We thought it was going to be done when we got there. It was not done when we got there. There was tons of water leaking through the walls. There was electrical hanging out, and all the construction workers were like all over the place. They were like staying at the house, and sometimes people would show up, and we didn't even know who they were. But the time it took us from leaving that house till we got back home was 42 hours. 42 hours of just straight travel, because originally, to get to the city we stayed at, which was Ormoc City, or Ormac, I can't pronounce it, but I just pronounce it Ormoc City. If you look that up on Google or Apple Maps or whatever, Ormoc City will be like exactly where we were. If you look that up, that's essentially right where the house was, right where the dot is on the map. It originally takes like 2 flights and then a 3-hour ferry ride to get to that city. So we had to take a huge boat ride to get there. Whereas on the way back, there was way too many air pressure changes to the point that the waves on the ocean were insane. And the ferry we took to Ormoc City, which takes like 3 hours, that ferry wasn't available. Like, we were trying to buy tickets home the day before we left, and that ferry where we were buying tickets was like, there's no promises that this boat is leaving tomorrow, because if the waves are like they are today, we're not going to go, which meant we would have missed our flight, which would have been terrible because we spent a lot of money on these. These flights are very expensive, and also I had videos scheduled kind of for those last couple days. It's, if you guys haven't noticed, it's been every other day. With the tech videos, that meant like if it was going to take me an extra 5 days to get home, there weren't going to be videos for an extra 5 days. It was going to be a real issue. And also, we didn't have internet the whole time we were there, so I wasn't able to contact my dad, who picked us up from the airport. If something went wrong, it would have been very difficult to contact my dad and been like, hey, don't go to the airport. We're not going to be there. So it was a big mess. So it turned out the only way we could get out of Ormoc City to Cebu, which is where our first flight was if we took an overnight ferry, which was way bigger and took like 8 hours. An 8-hour boat ride, to the point that there's no chairs. There's just bunks, like military-style bunk beds. No bed sheets, no pillows, just kind of rubber, like, floor mats. And we had to sleep on you'll see it all in the vlog. I'm working on the vlog. I've vlogged this whole trip. There's so much footage to go through, which is why you may not see the vlog for like a week or two. It's going to take a while to edit it. But I did document that part of the trip. It was like 500 people on one floor, and it was open air. We weren't inside. It was just on top of the ship. Darkness. It's so dark. I wish we could have seen some good sunsets while we were there, because it's so like overcast with clouds there. We never even saw stars. But at nighttime, going through the ocean, like for 8 hours, and you're like, all the bunk beds there are made for someone that's like 5'8". So I didn't fit in the bunk beds very well. And there's also no place to store all of your luggage, so we just had to sleep on top of our luggage in the process. But we made it through. It was a very, very long boat ride, and that boat ride was also followed by a 12-hour layover at the airport. So we just had to hang out at the airport for 12 hours straight in these uncushioned seats, unair-conditioned airport. And the experience of the actual the Philippines was very eye-opening. I wouldn't say it was like, it was amazing, it was super comfortable. It was amazing in the sense that I haven't left the country since I was 6 years old, and when I did, I went to like just over the border into Mexico, and it wasn't that far from home. This was the farthest from home I had ever been, and it is so drastically different. So many things were so different from the U.S. that it changes you when you get back to the U.S. after being in a third world country for that long. Like, you take so many different things with a different eye. You see things so differently. For one, it's so crowded there. It's so busy there. Like everything is so packed. There's so many motorcycles. Like people are just jumping on top of motorcycles. So many people are transported via motorcycles there. There's more bikes than cars. And all of the houses and everything is so crammed together. So many chickens everywhere. And there's a lot of dogs, but the biggest difference there is dogs don't bark in the Philippines for some reason. I think I saw one dog bark in the entire trip I was there. There were chickens everywhere, especially roosters, because they fight them there. That's legal there. And they crow all day. In fact, we played this game, me and my wife, where we counted how long we could go before hearing a rooster crow. And the maximum we ever got was 5 seconds. 5 seconds without hearing a rooster crow. The rest of the time, it was like nonstop because they had like 5 roosters at every house, and all of them were always crowing. It would keep you up at night because you would be you'd be trying to sleep, and it's like 1 a.m, and then like nonstop. These roosters are outside crowing. They didn't just crow in the morning. So many chickens. They were so loud, and the dogs were very silent. And we also saw the village Louise grew up in, and the pigs that were there. They had lots and lots of pigs. We got footage of that. And it was really eye-opening to see what my wife, like, where her childhood was and where she kind of originated from, and to see kind of the actual terrain that she was around when she was a kid. And there were these little kids that would follow us around. I stuck out like a sore thumb. I got to tell you, like, it was very rare to see a white person there. Not saying that that's bad or good. I'm just making an observation. Most people in the Philippines all are of the same, they're all Filipino. It's not as diverse as you're used to kind of in the U.S. where you'll see Hmong, and you'll see white, and you'll see black, and you'll see all kinds of different people here. There it's not as diverse. So whenever I walked into a room or a restaurant or a public place, everyone just looked at me. Everyone's like, why is this guy here? Especially the red hair. That's even more rare. So seeing not only a white guy but a ginger everywhere I went, it was just like everyone just look at me. And I got used to it because, I'm a YouTuber and I'm used to people watching me or criticizing my look, or I got questions about my psoriasis. People are like, why is your head red? Everyone asks about that. I didn't take offense to it, and because I'm so used to so many people watching me just on YouTube, I didn't have that big an issue. I wasn't very self-conscious about it. I just kind of all let it all hit me. So whenever I walk into a room and everyone looks at me, I'm just like, hello, hey, everybody. I'm in the Philippines. What's up? Funny story, actually. This whole trip, I was so curious, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if when I go over 7,000 miles away from home, basically a quarter of the way around the world, would a fan recognize me? I was like, that would be cool. That would be really, really interesting if I went that far around the world to have someone be like, hey, are you that YouTube guy? Is your name Andrew? Do you make tech videos? And the whole trip I was waiting for that to happen, and we went into public a few times, and then no one really noticed me or mentioned that they noticed me. Maybe someone saw me and they didn't introduce themselves. But I didn't have it until we got to the airport, and we were waiting to get through security. And this was still in the Philippines, by the way. We were at the I think it was no, it wasn't Cebu. It was the second airport, Manila. The Manila airport. And a guy came up and said, hey, are you Andrew from Tailosive? So I guess he wasn't native to the Philippines, but he wasn't native to the U.S. either. It was obvious from the accent and everything. They weren't going to the U.S. They weren't in line to go to California like we were. And we were in line, and the guy came up, and he was like, hey, my son watches your videos. Could we get a picture with you really quick? And I was just so shocked, and it was so bizarre, the fact that we could go freaking 7,000 miles away 7,000 miles away from home and still have a fan pick us up out of the crowd. So shout out, if you're watching this, to Neo, which was the kid who watched my videos, and his dad who came up to me and said hi. I haven't seen the picture posted anywhere. If Neo wants to post that photo somewhere, I will gladly retweet it, because I thought that was I thought that was amazing. It was so cool to see someone from that far away recognize me. But yeah, that was incredible. we didn't have running water for half the trip. So when people are like, how was your vacation? I'm kind of like, well, it wasn't that I had a bad trip. It was just we were starting to get a little homesick by the end of it. It was like 7 full days there and then 4 days of like solid travel. It took like 48 hours to get there and like 48 hours to get back. Not quite 48. It was like 30 hours to get there, 42 hours to get back. So not quite 2 days, but like a significant portion of like an entire day plus extra both ways. So it was a lot of like patience and being calm and trying to get through everything. Especially when there were roosters crowing all night. It made it very difficult to sleep. And I don't think our bodies ever fully adjusted like to the different time zone, because every single day we were there, we still went to bed pretty early, like at 7 p.m., which for us is pretty early. I mean, for most people, I think 7 p.m. to go to bed is still pretty early. So like we never completely adjusted to the different time zone. And whenever we woke up, we always were up at like, really early. It was always like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. And I was like, oh, I feel fine. Like I'm ready to get up. And it was because we had a full 9 hours of sleep or 8 hours. So it was not your cliche typical vacation, It wasn't like your typical just like, now I can sit back and relax. No, it was like, kill all the flies, so many flies. The house was like infested with flies. You have to be like several different forms of blind there. And what I mean by that is like you have to be fly blind, so you have to be like used to just flies being everywhere, though me and my wife tried to kill as many as we can. Humid blind, you have to get very, very used to the heavy humidity there. You just walk outside and you're solid wet. And then you have to get used to the chickens, the roosters crowing all day, so crowing blind. And, I mean, trash blind to a certain extent. And I'm not just saying that, like, as a disrespect. I just mean, like, there's no garbage service. They just leave trash everywhere. They burn it there. At the house we were at, they just had garbage everywhere. And then at the other houses we went to, there's just trash all over the place. And that didn't make it, like, not beautiful. It was just there wasn't like a good infrastructure for getting rid of garbage. So you had to get very used to it just being all over the place. It was just everywhere. Super chat from Ethan who said, do we get a Note 10 rant? YouTubers aren't criticizing it for anything. Yeah, I'll probably do one. There's a bunch of tech videos I have to make. I'm not sure which one I'll make today. I'm trying to make the ones that are most like relevant to the time. But yeah, Note 10 like for real impressions this time I'll probably do. My Note 10 video recapping the event was done weeks before the event actually happened, so I didn't add too much opinion to it. But yeah, you'll be getting a Note 10 video more than likely. The food was very, very good. We had a lot of Jollibee, which is a Filipino fast food joint. I'm still pretty sick. Will you still buy the Tesla? Yes. The house did not offset the Tesla plans, by the way. In fact, if anything, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you should know that like this almost gets us closer to the Tesla, not financially, but whenever people would ask about like when are you going to buy the Tesla or can you buy a Tesla, it's always been it's not about the money, it's about the stage in life we want to be in first. And what I was referring to whenever I said that stage of life was me and my wife wanted to make sure we bought a house before a Tesla. Now we've bought the house, so ABC, you can see where things are going. I'm not saying it's soon. It's not going to be this year, but it's still happening. It's not been canceled. It wasn't like I had to choose between a Tesla and a house. We're still getting both, but it's just a matter of time. I'm not going to give you like a confirmed date of when we're getting the Tesla, but I'll just say it'll probably happen sooner than you think. And it's also not tomorrow. Okay, there was a few days when you thought Stardust wasn't going to happen. What was happening when you thought that? Okay, good question, Matt. So the process of buying a house takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. So I guess today, now we're shifting back more to the house purchasing topic. That took so long because most escrow periods for when you buy a house are about 30 days. Ours was no different. So while we were simultaneously making videos in advance, all the videos that came out while I was on my trip, we were also constantly meeting with our real estate agent, looking at houses, comparing houses we wanted to buy. We looked at a lot of houses worse than this one and a lot of houses better than this one in very different price ranges. We looked at a wide range. We almost bought a house outright, which was really exciting to us. We came very, very close to buying a house that it wasn't in a great neighborhood and it wasn't in great shape. It needed a lot of work, but it was in our budget to the point that we wouldn't have to take out a loan to buy it. And when we saw that, we were like, ooh, that's really tempting. And we would love the idea of not having a mortgage, but ultimately the reason we didn't go through with it was because when we put an offer on that house, the buyer said he only wanted a 10-day escrow, which meant that he wanted the whole house purchasing process. Like, he needed the money now. He wanted to sell that thing quick. And once you put an offer on a house and the seller accepts the offer, you have to go through so many inspections and so much title transfer and insurances. To do all of that in 10 days, I was like, something feels wrong. If he wants it to be closed in 10 days, it's probably because there's something wrong with the house and he doesn't want us to catch it. He wants us to hurry up the process. And also, I wasn't in love with the fact that the house needed a ton of work because I'm a very busy YouTuber. I don't have a ton of time to spend my free time working on houses and fixing them up. And also, it wasn't a great neighborhood. So I was not in love with it, and like I was in love with the idea of not having a mortgage, but ultimately we were like, I think it would be better if we got a little bit nicer place. You know, we have a mortgage, but it's not much. It was just a little bit more than what we were paying in rent. And like I said in my Stardust Reveal, we're getting that money back in regards to renting it out later or way down the line selling the house. I'm sure we'll get that money back. So it's an investment. It's not like rent where you just throw money at something and it doesn't come back. This money will come back, so we're okay with spending a little bit more and having a mortgage. But it's also a way nicer neighborhood. It's private, so y'all can't look us up on. If somehow you found our address, I don't know how you wouldn't be able to type it in Google Maps and see us because it's private, way more secluded. There's way more space between us and our neighbors. I never really talked about it that much, but at the last place we were at, the rental, it wasn't that nice a neighborhood, and the houses were very, very close together. Not to say we have a big house. We didn't buy something huge. Square footage-wise, it's about the same as the last house, almost exactly when we were comparing the square footage. So if you recall our last house tour, which was at the rental, just imagine that size house. That's about as big as this one is. My office is a little bigger, but not, like, noticeably. Like on camera, I don't think you'll notice that it's bigger. Like in regards to me as someone who uses it and gets to walk in it and sit around and try different setups and stuff like that, I get to experience a little bit bigger space. But in regards to what you guys get, no, it's about the same size on camera. It's probably like 10 square feet larger. It's very barely bigger. But if you rent your house out on Airbnb, are you worried about people finding the link and doxing you? No, because we wouldn't rent it out on Airbnb. If we were still living in it. We plan on renting out a house that we don't live in. I don't think we would do the Airbnb thing. We would do like the tenants situation where they live there permanently. Well, not permanently. They live there all the time, and they pay you monthly for it. That's the kind of renting we're talking about, not the Airbnb thing. Are there going to be more gaming streams? Soon. Everything, once we get back into a regular schedule, everything should be coming back. Movie reviews, food videos, of course. I know that's what everyone really wants. Gaming stream, all that stuff will be coming back. It's just going to take a little bit of time as moving processes are very complicated. I don't think a lot of people understand the timeline we're talking about. Like, you guys try to understand, like, it was July 31st. I did that Goodbye for Now live stream. Right after that stream ended, we left. And we went to the Philippines, and it took us, 10, 11 days to get back from that. As soon as we got back, it was like the day after we returned. The day after we returned, we immediately packed up all our stuff at that rental. After returning from a huge trip, we had to pack everything up, move it all over here. The escrow for this house closed like a week before we left, by the way. So we were like making videos in advance, / looking at houses, / filling out paperwork, / buying insurance, / getting everything ready for the move. Then we leave on our trip, then come back, move everything in 2 days. Literally, like, we moved into this place 3 days ago, and then had to get the internet installed, get the power bills figured out, water bill, garbage bill, insurance, and then the Wi-Fi installed, all within like a 2-day block, and now you're just now catching the end of it. So my vacation, so to say, was mostly just going on the trip to the Philippines, obviously, which was a huge eye-opening experience and seeing what things we don't have in America. It was not necessarily like the most comfortable vacation, but it was vacation away from doing YouTube all the time, which was a little refreshing. It was a little bit of like, hey, we get to do something else for a while. Like we've been just working. My wife goes to work. I make YouTube videos, and we'd been doing that schedule for many, many months. So it was kind of refreshing to finally do something else. But at the same time moved very, very slower, much slower, to the point that we had a lot of free time in the Philippines and didn't really know what to do with a lot of it. But yeah, still a lot of work, a lot of energy went into it. Is there a set for the Talks podcast? Not officially. I'm thinking of doing it just on the futon back there. We're probably not going to have the same soundproofing and Tailosive T set that we had before. But the last Talks podcast set, the thing was like the soundproofing took forever to like mask it around the AC unit, and then the metal T was like rusting and it was decoloring, and I wasn't really happy with the way it was looking. So I'm not really like determined to bring back that exact set in the same way. We'll bring back the Talks podcast, just not like it won't have the same background as before. Same people though. How's the internet at the new house? Any better? It's not better or worse. I checked with Comcast before we even put an offer on the house. That was like a main excuse me. Before we even put an offer on the house, just when we started looking at it, we checked with Comcast to see what speeds they could offer at this place, and it was the exact same speed because we didn't want to break. You know, Xfinity always tries to get you into a contract, and it's cheaper if you agree to a multi-year contract. So we didn't want to break the contract, so we decided to just transfer the service over. That way we didn't have to pay any extra. So we plugged in the new address. We plugged in the new address at Comcast, and they were like, yep, you can get the exact same speed, exact same plan, won't change your rates or anything, so don't expect anything to be different when you get to the new house. So that's what we did. We just told them a scheduled date. We were like, hey, August 12th, that's when we're moving over. Can you bring the internet over on the 12th? And they were late, I will mention. They were supposed to come between 7:30 and 8:30, and they didn't. They came at 9. But once the guy was here, it took them about an hour. And now the coax cable comes right behind the computer. So I actually get direct Ethernet access now, whereas before, where I had situated my desk and my iMac and everything, I couldn't connect to the internet via Ethernet. Now I can, which is kind of cool. So better in that sense, but in regards to speeds just going directly to the house, no, it's the same speed as before. Chris Norton super chatted, says, please put this to your house. Thank you very much. Appreciate the donation. And yes, sorry for those who are late. So what you're saying is we need to make Tailosive Internet to make a better service. Yes, I need you guys to rebuild the internet for me and also work on designing a program that will let me load my consciousness into software, because when I die, I want there to be a software version of me. And I get to write the rules for it. I get to just write out like the 10 fundamentals, and I write 10 rules that are like, okay, whatever the software does, don't let it do this, and that, because this is truly me. If it ever disobeyed any of these 10 rules, then it wouldn't be me. And then you guys can just talk to a digital version of me when I'm dead. And Tailosive can live forever. So cool. Buying the house sounds sensible, takes priority over the Tesla. Hope you enjoy the new house. Oh, thank you, DS Gibb. And yes, I'm actually very proud of you guys. I was in the premiere during the live chat. And obviously I've been reading the live chat during this live stream, and I was worried that people would misunderstand our reasoning behind buying the house. I was convinced as to why it was a good idea, and it took me a long time to realize it because my younger teenage brain was basically just like, tech, I need to buy new tech. iMac Pro, let's buy that. And then Tesla Model 3 becomes obtainable, and I'm like, okay, just buy the Model 3. Let's buy the Tesla as soon as we can. But it took a lot of adult maturing, you could say, between me and my wife, where she was just like, well, no, think about it. That's cool and all, but it's going to depreciate over time, and the house won't, and you can actually get more out of your money with that investment. So I think we should prioritize this. And the more we talked about it, the more I realized it made more sense. And I was worried that a lot of my fan base wouldn't understand it the way I did, because you guys know my sheep mentality. When I see something I want to buy, I'm just like, I gotta buy that. I need to buy that. So I was very, very preoccupied and very, very just focused on buying, excuse me, a new Tesla as soon as possible. But it seems like the chat and everyone has for the most part really understood it, and people have been very supportive and very polite, and everyone's been very, very happy for us, and we're happy too. Once again, big shout out to my family. They moved everything so fast. Like, I know we don't have a huge house, we don't have a ton of stuff, but still, the fact that like our family members came over and they were just like, "Hey, we're gonna help you move." They took out all the soundproofing in the old house. I have video of that. I'll show you. And they packed up all of our furniture, like the TVs and the shelves and the futon and my desk. The PewDiePie chair is very heavy, by the way. This is very difficult stuff to move. And they hooked up a trailer. They got a couple of trucks together, and within an hour, all of the heavy stuff had been moved. It was amazing how quick they worked. They did a great job. But the chat and the audience, I'm very proud of you guys for understanding why buying a house is a big achievement and it's a big milestone, not just for me, but also for Taylosive, because I wanted to talk about this in the video, but I didn't have time to. I made that video like 3 hours ago, by the way. I had to edit that all together and get it all ready for you guys. It almost didn't happen. I overslept this morning because I'm still coughing. I'm still very sick. But the main reason I wanted to make a big deal out of this and call it Project Stardust and give it like a code name is that you guys, like Ethan and Chris and Rabbit, who have donated in the chat, a lot of you guys support Taylosive financially, and not just with super chats, but a lot of you guys support us just with your watch time, and watching my videos and helping me do what I do and let this be my full-time job, and you guys have time and money invested into Taylosive, into this brand I've created, and I'm very grateful for that. And I wanted everyone to understand that I take that very, very seriously. The donations, the support, the financial support you guys have given us, I'm so grateful for that. And I want you guys to know we're putting it to as best use as possible. We're putting it. We're trying to think in so many ways, like how can we take the money that you guys have chosen to give, or the money from the watch time from all of you guys watching my videos, that gives us a budget to work with, that Google reimburses us with, and put that to best use possible. And while a lot of people were like kind of upset or annoyed that we moved out of the 2X office, the big one, because that was so much space, the reason we did was because we realized, like, hey, everyone's donating so much, everyone's supporting so much, like, and we're sending all of this money just to our video backgrounds. We're just sending all this money to like poorly painted walls behind us. How can we find a better use for that money we're taking and accepting from all you guys? Like, let's put it to something that's gonna give us return, so that I can continue to make videos and have a good budget for making videos and being able to afford the expensive stuff it takes to run this network. And buying a house, I felt like was a very, very major milestone. Like it was a huge way that we could make sure that we keep more of the money that comes in, instead of just throwing it all out on rent every single month, because that's a very big expense. At 2X, it was definitely the biggest expense we ever had, was just rent, just that big office. Now we're going to buy a place that eventually we'll own outright and have no rent to worry about. I'm not renting at all now because we're just paying off the house, and we put a very, very good down payment on it. And I hope that the fan base can understand, like, because of that, we're taking your investment into Taylosive and making the best out of it. Excuse me. The best out of it we possibly can. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm still very sick. So I hope you guys could understand that. And it seems like most people are. They're very much appreciative of it, and I'm very grateful for that. And we're going to continue to find ways that we can utilize your donations and your watch time and what Google pays us as much as possible. Because, as you guys know, I'm not in love with sponsorships. I'm not opposed to doing them if times get tough, but I would like to avoid doing sponsored videos because not just from a point that I think everyone would unsubscribe, because I don't think they would. A lot of people have said they'd be fine if I did sponsorships, but personally, I just don't want to do them because I don't really love it when other YouTubers do it. It kind of annoys me when I'm watching a YouTuber and then they have to interject it with an ad. So I'm like, I get why they do it. You know, they need to pay their employees or they need to make a living, so that's why they do it. But I would like to be the one guy that doesn't, and I'm going to try to be the different YouTuber, you know, from the rest. I don't want to just do what everyone else did and be like, okay, I got to make more money, so just start accepting brand deals. Like, I was like, what if instead of just saying we need more money, let's accept more brand deals, let's make the most out of our money and make sure we keep as much of it as possible. Like, we hang on to it as much as we can. That way we don't need to have sponsored brand deals and we can still buy the expensive stuff, because I think a lot of YouTubers out there kind of send the message out that the only way to be the only way to buy expensive things, or the only way to buy equipment and run a business, the only way you can do that is if you do sponsored brand deals. And if you don't do sponsored brand deals, then it's not going to happen. But I wanted to kind of prove a point with this by announcing that, yeah, like, hey, we're buying a house and we're still going to be able to buy a Tesla and stuff like that. Like, you don't have to. A lot of YouTubers make it out to be like it's the only way. You have to do it. There's no way you can avoid it. You absolutely have to do brand deals in order to be a successful YouTuber. And I don't think that's true. And I'm not against other channels doing brand deals if they want to. I'm all for the control. But as long as I'm in control of Taylosive, I want to make sure that we make the most out of our money. And just kind of like Apple with like cores, when they design CPUs, they're like, it's not so much about giving your phone like 16 gigs of RAM to make it good at multitasking. It's more about like making the most out of that RAM. Let's be efficient with our power usage in our CPUs, and let's be efficient with our RAM management in iOS. I'm kind of like that. I'm like, let's just be, instead of like having to do brand deals and stuff, let's just be efficient with the money we do have. That way, when more money does come down the road, you'll know wiser ways of spending it. And that's kind of our long game here, is that we're going to buy up probably several properties and rent them out over the course of the next 10 years and let that generate passive income, and that'll be our cash flow. I'm not doing it because I want to retire early. That's my wife's plan, is the retire early mentality, where you can like not even be 40 and have enough passive income that you can live off of it, because you have all these properties paid off and you're generating income from tenants that you don't even have to really work. You hire a property manager to do all the day-to-day stuff, and boom, you're living for free. I don't plan on doing that because I just love making YouTube videos, and the money is secondary for me. It takes a lot of money to run a Taylosive network and run a YouTube channel, but if I had an unlimited budget and I had all the money in the world, I would still be doing the same thing. So that's basically how I'm going to be trying to run the network, is that I can just do it without having to worry about money, and not have to worry about brand deals. And ultimately, the whole reason I did YouTube instead of going to film school was because I wanted complete control over the content I produced. And when you start doing brand deals and you start letting sponsorships come in, that's when you start losing control. That's when you're like, okay, I have control over 80% of the video, but the final 20%, or maybe the first 3%, that is in control from someone else. Someone else gets to decide what I say, what I promote, what I talk about. And I'm like, other channels, they've been known to do that. I'm going to try to be different. And I also just think it's a good idea to be smart with money, regardless of what your budget or your income is. It's smart. And I can't wait to talk more about it, as this is a big educational experience for, I think, everybody out there. There's a lot of people I've met online that don't understand how good an investment real estate can be, and how safe of one it is. That I think a lot of people can learn from me and from my example. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that like buying a house or buying a Tesla or any one of those things would have been like impossible goals, because of just how much money I was wasting on rent and things because I didn't budget. it wasn't that long ago that there wasn't like that wasn't possible. And now, just by budgeting and looking over finances and trying to keep as much as you can, uh, things change very quickly. Things turn around very, very quickly, and you're able to suddenly realize, like, well, you can do a lot with the money you're given, but if you blow it all on rent, or you blow it all on things that don't really give you anything back financially in return, then it's not worth it. You know, it's been a very educational last couple of years. And I mean, how many people do you know that are 21 years old and buying a house? Like, it's not that common. Sorry, I'll answer some of the messages here. You're not very large YouTubers, so you're allowed to do sponsors, but it's cool that you have dignity not to. Like I've always said, guys, I'm not like saying I'll never do them. I'm just saying I would like to not do them. If it's possible that I can avoid it, I will. How did it feel to finally have a break from YouTube for a while? It was bittersweet, because I don't know if you guys know this, but this is my dream job. I love making YouTube videos, and it didn't take very long for me to miss it once I stopped doing it. I mean, I was getting very, I won't say burnt out, because I feel like a lot of YouTubers say that. It wasn't burnt out. I was just doing overtime, because I was making all these videos in advance for my trip. When I'm not making videos in advance, I don't feel burnt out. I don't feel overworked, because I get to make one tech video and one vlog, or then occasionally do a gaming video or a movie review. That's fine. I can live with that. It was just that I wasn't able to work on those other channels, because every day or every other day I would have to be like, okay, now I got to make 2 tech videos today. Now I got to make 2 tech videos again, 2 tech videos, so that one comes out while I'm gone and one comes out today. And I was kind of sick of the overtime. So it was refreshing to finally stop doing that and be like, okay, now I can leave the channel, not worry about the videos going up. Like, I hadn't done that in a long time. Like, I have made videos in advance before, but when I go on my trip, I usually still have internet access. Like, my last big trip was to Washington last year, and I did videos in advance, and they all came out while I was gone, but I could still browse Twitter, I could still type in Discord, and I could still be in active social media. This time I was completely disconnected for over a week. I was completely disconnected from the internet, so I couldn't use Twitter, I couldn't use Discord, I couldn't read the news and any of those things. And that was very different, you know. I don't think I liked it very much, but it was refreshing. It was I think it was good. It was good to take a break, but by the end of the break, I was like, okay, I'm ready to come back, because I like making YouTube videos, and it was neat exploring a third world country. But at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? This is really cool and all, but I think I want to go home. I think I like toilets. You know, like, I hate to get graphic here, but we didn't have a working toilet. And what you had to do was basically do your business in a bowl, and then you have to pour water in the bowl to get your business to go away. And when you do that, you have to look at your business in the face. And I was kind of sick of doing that. It was very stinky. It was very smelly, not having plumbing in a house, and having to meet your business in the face every time you went to the restroom. It was kind of getting tired of it. So once I got back home and I used a regular plumbing toilet again, I was like cheering. I literally sat on the toilet and flushed it and went, whoa! I was like, thank God. Isn't plumbing great? I know, it's gross, but I'm just saying it was interesting, and it was insightful to see third world country, but also at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm ready for the U.S. again. And you get back, and like, the cars are all big. The cars are so small there. All the cars are all compact and tiny. The wheels are so small in the Philippines. Everything's all crammed together. And in America, all the cars are so big. There's so much space on the road, and all the wheels are huge and stuff. Like, there's so much room in the cars we sit in now. And like, oh, it's so refreshing to come back. And, you know, in the Philippines, they honk their horns so much. Anytime anyone drives by each other, no one listens to the rules of the road. No one follows the lines. Yeah, that was a good joke, Samuel. The spam bot stopped that, but I'm going to keep it. That girl that's been noticed super chatted $15. Thank you very much. Says, oh, you're back. Here's a little gift. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, as Wyatt said, I've been in captivity for 2 months. I want an American cheeseburger. That was his meme. If anyone follows Taylosive Talks on Twitter, you should know That meme came from Wyatt. Like, as soon as I got back into the States, Wyatt texted me that meme from Iron Man. That was amazing. What do you mean the cars in the Philippines are small? I mean exactly that. Like, the tires are not standard tires. I don't know. You guys, you saw my Roadster video. You know I'm not a car person. What's the size of an average sedan car tire in the U.S.? It's not like that. In the Philippines, there's more motorcycles than cars, first of all. But even the regular cars are, like, way smaller and way underpowered. Like, the car that I didn't get to drive the whole trip, and I didn't want to drive. It was crazy. But the car we rode around in could, like, barely get up certain hills. It would, like, try to drive up, like, not even a big hill. It was like a normal-sized paved hill, and it would start. It could barely get up. Excuse me. It's because the engine's so small and the tires are so small. Like, everything's underpowered. Ugh. Do you appreciate the luxury more now? The luxury of the United States, yes, as in just everything here is so much fancier. And a trip like that is healthy, I think. Not in the sense of, like, I think more compact. That's what I mean. What that small means. When someone says the iPhone SE is more compact, the iPhone SE is smaller. That's a fair. Do they drive on the right side of the road? Yeah, they drive on the same side of the road, but in the Philippines they kind of drive on all sides of the road because they don't follow the lines. Everyone just drives around each other, and if someone's in your way, you just honk. They honk all the time there. It's not considered rude. Honking in the Philippines means on your left. I'm about to pass you. The food was delicious. There was a lot of great food we had. Filipino food is excellent. Jollibee was really good. Lots of spaghetti and hot dog combinations, and a lot of things. It's funny, in the Philippines there's a lot of things that aren't the same and a lot of things that are the same. The similar thing that's funny about being in a third world country is that everyone still just wants smartphones. There's so many kids on little smartphones there, and one of them asked for a smartphone when we were there. Like, can I have a smartphone? We didn't have one to give them. Otherwise, it's just, here, take my 10S Max that doesn't work. Very little Apple products. That was the other thing I wanted to talk about, is the tech in the Philippines. Is that lots of Huawei ads, which I was not used to because they don't sell Huawei in the U.S., but lots of Huawei phones, a lot of Oppo phones, a lot of Vivo phones, and hardly any iPhones. I don't think I saw a single iPhone in the Philippines. I saw a couple iPads. A few people had the budget ones, not pros or anything. But I saw a couple regular iPads. But in regards to phones, all of them were Android. There was not, like, I was like the one iPhone user there. Had Louise been there before you went? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, she lived there for the first 8 years of her life. You could never tell, but Louise's first language is not English. She was a kid for the first 8 years of, she was a kid the first 8 years of her life. What am I saying? She grew up there, and then she moved to the U.S. when she was 8, and she used to speak the native language there fluently. And then when she moved to the U.S., she learned English and forgot her native language, so she can't speak it anymore. She completely forgot it. How fast was the data and Wi-Fi speeds? There was none. There was no internet there. I couldn't connect to Wi-Fi. The stupid public Wi-Fi always required a Filipino phone number. So anytime you would try to connect to a free Wi-Fi network in the Philippines, it would be like, what's your phone number? And I couldn't enter my U.S. number. Wouldn't work. You would need a Filipino phone number. And the people we were staying with didn't have phone numbers, so I couldn't use internet there. I don't think they have good speeds, though, because I saw lots of billboards for internet being advertised. They were like, you can have Wi-Fi. Excuse me. And the biggest billboard I saw with the best speed possible, it was like, Wi-Fi available for this many pesos, and the highest speed they had advertised was 15 megabits per second. They were like up to, not like base standard. It was like Wi-Fi speeds up to 15 megabits per second. And I was like, you're saying up to, like on a good day, like in best case scenario, no devices connected, just straight Ethernet to your computer, you get 15 megabits per second. So I'm guessing that even if our house had Wi-Fi, it probably wasn't very good Wi-Fi. Did you learn any Filipino words, phrases? A few. Mabuhay was the one I used the most, which basically means like good day. It's like the introduction. Yeah, Mabuhay. Salamat is thank you, which I used a lot. There were a lot of places we hung out at, and people that brought us food, or we brought them food, and we wanted to say goodbye or thank you or anything like that. Salamat. And what other ones? Man, I knew a ton. Too big is water, if you want too big. Which my sister made a good joke about that. She said 70% of me is too big because it's water, and we all want to be lighter. Were there any Samsung LG phones down there? I didn't see many Samsung. Samsung doesn't do very well in the Philippines, I think. There were very few Samsung phones, mostly just Huawei, Oppo, and Vivo. Those were the three main ones. There were a lot of times I thought I saw an iPhone, but it turned out to be an Oppo once I got a better look at it. I was like, oh, that person has an iPhone, because it would be the same, like, front of the device would look like an iPhone, back of the device would look like an iPhone, but then you would see the OS, and it was Android. I was like, wow. Did you wear your Apple Watch over there? No. Because crime rates are actually pretty bad in the Philippines, I didn't want to put much of a target on my back, and being white already is kind of a target on your back. There's a lot of people that get held for ransom sometimes, and you can get caught in the middle of gang wars and that kind of thing. So I didn't want a big target on my back, so I thought it would be smart to not wear a super nice watch. I did bring my iPhone, but it was in a very thick battery case for most of the trip, because there were some portions of the trip where we didn't have power, so I wanted to make sure that I had extra battery juice with me. So I brought my iPhone, but it didn't look particularly fancy because it was in a big plasticky bulk case. It wasn't the smart battery case. It was like I forget what it's called, the basic Rebel battery cases that they don't have the smart battery optimization, but they have a lot of battery juice in them. So I took that on the trip, also just because I didn't want to break my phone, because I'd be in a lot of different places than normal on this trip. So no, didn't wear the watch, didn't have an Apple Watch for about 9 days. I did vlog. I have probably a big vlog coming up, probably around 10 minutes of just the trip, and I went through the day-to-day stuff. I have a ton of footage to go through, but I've got footage of basically everything we saw, so there wasn't any part of the trip where we went somewhere and you won't see where we went. We vlogged everything. We vlogged the house, and it's going to take a while to edit everything, which is why I said in the video the vlog will probably come out in a week or two, because it's not gonna be a vlog I can edit like boom. It'll take a little while, but yeah, it'll be on this channel soon. I did get the Apple Card. I didn't get the physical one yet, but I have it there. I've been using it for a little while. It's really nice. I love the Apple Card so far. I've switched basically everything I have over to this card. There's only a couple things I left on my last credit card. And I personally, excuse me, I cannot wait to make a video on the Apple Card, because I feel like so many people misunderstand the Apple Card, and they're all tier 3, tier 4 credit card users that pay yearly for their credit card and say that they have better benefits, when that's not the reason Apple made the Apple Card. You can't compare a tier 3 and 4 card to a tier 1 to a tier 2 card, which is what the Apple credit card is. It's a free credit card, doesn't cost anything to sign up or anything like that. And yes, I got approved for the Apple Card after I bought our house and we have a mortgage. So that's how good the credit score was. I've never missed a credit card payment. I know the interest rates are high, but that's, in my opinion, a terrible reason to get a credit card, is because you want to buy something you can't afford. I've never gotten a credit card for that reason. The only reason I had my last credit card was because I wanted a good credit score, and it worked. I have a great credit score. And I'm very close to closing my old credit card because it wasn't very good. It was just they were doing like a limited time offer, and it was free to sign up for that card with my bank, and they were like, if you spend this much money in the first 3 months, then we'll give you like $1,000 in rewards or something like that, or not 1,000. It was something a lot. I think it was like $300 or $500. I don't know why I said 1,000. Oh, it was because you had to spend over $1,000 in the first 3 months, and if you did, then you got like $300 worth of rewards. And I was about to buy my new MacBook Pro back in 2016, So I was like, oh, I'm about to buy a MacBook Pro, and I'm old enough to get a credit card now. Like, I'll get that credit card. That way I'll have the rewards, and then I'll have good credit from here on out. So I've never missed a payment. I've never paid interest on a credit card. But people are completely missing the point of the Apple Card, which is the same reason people buy lots of different things from Apple is the convenience factor. Apple has made the most convenient credit card, I think, ever. I don't think there's ever been a credit card that's as easy to sign up for or as quick to sign up for. And the rewards aren't the best, but I don't think they have to be because of how simple they are. Apple's taken the points thing out of the game, which a lot of people think points are great, but there's also a ton of reasons why points are a scam. A lot of credit card companies do the points mentality because it's taking control from you out of, I just want to spend money on whatever I want. I want to use cash. And the whole reason they give you more points is so that you can get the illusion that you're getting more rewards because they're already deciding where you're going to spend that money. Most of the time it's with flights. Most of the time it's like, well, now you get all of these fly miles and you can fly for free. And you go, oh, okay, cool. Now I get to fly around for free. This card's paying for itself. But in actuality, if you didn't have those points, you wouldn't have flown anywhere in the first place. And if you're going on a trip and you're using your free miles, you're spending money at the airport, buying food, buying drinks. Wherever you go on vacation, you're buying hotel, you're buying gas, you're buying rental cars. Like, they're making money off you by counting off of what you're not going to do, and you have to spend a lot of money in order to save money with those rewards points in the process. And there's a lot of people that just don't want to buy into that. They're not interested in paying an annual fee for a credit card, and that's what the Apple Card targets. Oh, excuse me. It seems like Apple's making it easy to get approved. They're rolling it out slowly. I get that. Like, they're not allowing anyone to sign up for the card immediately, but that I think is because you have to, what's it called? They're rolling it out slowly to make sure they don't find too many major bugs and they can handle it at scale. So they're rolling it out to a bunch of people, and there's a lot of people who haven't got it yet and want it. And over time, it'll be available for everyone. But I got to tell you, there has never been an easier credit card to sign up for, I think, ever. I don't think it exists that there'd be a credit card that you can, like, within 5 minutes be spending money. I landed in the U.S. I was on the plane. We were taxiing into our gate, and I opened the wallet app. I hit the plus, and I see the Apple Card option there. I was signed up and approved in 5 minutes. Wasn't even out of my seat yet because people were still grabbing their luggage and getting off the plane. I wasn't even off the plane yet, and boom, they already sent the physical card to my new address here, and I already had the card available in my wallet app, and then when I got off the plane, I bought dinner with it. That's never been possible. Before, with credit cards, you have to go through the approval process. Sometimes it's not instant. Sometimes it takes a while before they approve you, and then you have to wait till they mail you the physical card, which can oftentimes take like 6 to 7 days, sometimes less. But then you have to activate it by calling a number or going to a website and entering the card number, and then, boom, you activate it. So it takes like a week-long process to get that card. The Apple Card, they've made it so simple and so easy to use, and also so easy to pay off because they give you notifications when you buy something, and then they also show you how much they're very upfront about the interest charges, which a ton of credit card companies aren't. I can tell you from the Tier 2 card I use. It's not a great card. It was a good starter card for an 18-year-old. And, like, it's they very easily want you to miss a payment because they don't ping you. They don't notify you via push notification that a credit card payment is due. They send you an email with a date. But with Apple, it's just like, bing, couple of taps. It's not another bank account you have to sign up with. I get that there's all these other people on YouTube, these credit files. That's my new terminology I'll introduce in my Apple Card video. Credit files out there card files, I should say, card files, that go out there and say, well, there's this other free City Cash double rewards points. They give you 2% cash back on everything. Sure, it's only points, but it's free to sign up for. That has better rewards than the Apple Card. It's like, yeah, but that's another app I have to install. That's another bank account I have to make, a new email address, a new password to remember that I have to sign up for. It means more emails in my inbox telling me about rewards and points, and you got to sign up for this and use your points for this. And the whole process of redeeming points on my Tier 2 credit card, at least, is way too complicated. You have to go into the app, then you hit the rewards points section, and then you can decide how you want to redeem the points you've racked up, and then it takes like a month before you can actually redeem those points. It's not instant, and Apple has simplified all of that and just said, no, we'll just give you the cash back. There's no points. We'll just give you back the cash, and you can sign up for it and get approved in like 5 minutes and already be buying things with it. The physical card is on the way. I don't have the titanium card yet, but it'll get here in the mail soon. Doesn't that interest rate mean that if I spend $100, I'd have to pay $112 with interest rate? No. That's if you're late. If you're late to a credit card payment, yes, you pay with interest, but no one should be paying late on their credit card. If you pay late on your credit card, you should not be using a credit card. Credit card doesn't cost money to use as long as you know when to make the payments on it. And I got to tell you, having used a Wells Fargo Tier 2 credit card for years, Apple makes it painfully obvious when your payment is due and how much you need to pay. The interest rate only applies when you're late on your payment. Like I'd show you right now, but there's a bit too many personal information in the wallet app right now that I don't think I want to show you. But you open the wallet app, you tap on your account, it tells you exactly when your first payment is due. It gives you the option to pay it early if you want to. And it gives you options with I'm trying to look at my phone to see if this gives away anything. I don't think this gives away anything. So my next payment is due on September 30th. That's like pay off your total balance, and then they have different notches as you come down. Select it right here. Pay a third to get ahead. Paying this amount can lower your first monthly balance and help reduce or avoid interest charges. Lower it all the way. Covers entertainment spending. So they're saying, like, if you just pay $5.99 now, that covers all of your entertainment purchases. And they're saying, like, this is good. This is the default. There was a video, I think Nick tweeted it out. I couldn't, but I didn't understand why he thought that guy had good points. There was a video this credit card channel put out there about why you shouldn't get the credit card. And he was saying that, like, they're trying to capitalize off of people who can't make their interest card payments. When I'm like, how can you say that when they make it so painfully obvious or make it so painfully easy to not miss a credit card payment? For one, they give you the push notifications when your payment is due. They tell you way in advance when your first payment is due. And by default, they set your payment to the full balance. As soon as you hit pay now, it's by default pay off your balance. There's nothing about this entire process that explains why they're trying to capitalize off of the higher interest rates. In other words, you have to be very, very idiotic to miss the interest rates. With other credit cards, you still have to be idiotic, but it would be easy to miss. You could just get caught up in emails and not check your email, or you didn't log into the banking app too often. With the wallet app, it's all protected via Face ID. There's no extra password you have to encrypt. It's just the biometric. If you miss a credit card payment with the Apple Card, you have to be very, very blind. You have to be able to not read any of the warnings. Real Chads like me don't wait till the end of the month, but pay off their credit cards every day. I know, that's what I do too. AKA Graham Stephan. Yeah, I watch a lot of Graham Stephan. Goldman Sachs have done shady things in the past. It's their first time with consumers. Well, if Apple's in charge, it's kind of like when people freaked out that LG would be manufacturing iPhone displays. It's like, LG's made crappy displays in the past, but the banking process of the Apple Card is all backed through Goldman Sachs, but it's still all being handled and charged by Apple. If there was some big scandal in some giant privacy story that came forward about the Apple Card, then I would agree with you. But this isn't being done solely through Goldman Sachs. The security of it and the passwords and the card numbers are all being handled by Apple, not Goldman Sachs. You don't have to make a Goldman Sachs account. You don't need to have a bank account with Goldman Sachs. They're just handling the back end of it. It's like the 10s Max doesn't have a bad display, even if it was manufactured by LG. It's not what I'm worried about. Get a new card service when the economy is projected to slump in the next year or two. It's been projected to slump for the past 10 years, but even if it does, I don't see how that affects my credit card. How is the weather in the Philippines? Very wet. It wouldn't rain a lot, but when it did, it would pour and then it would stop immediately. It was mostly fine weather. It was just very hot and wet, very humid. Watching on my 2XL, my iPhone will be in 2 days. Oh, good. I was going to have to ban you from the chat as soon as I heard a Pixel user would be watching. Anyway, thank you, guys. I think I'm going to have to wrap this up. I appreciate the super chats, though. It's very good to be back, and I'm going to have to make a tech vid now, and that'll be up on the tech channel soon. I guess you guys have had tech videos while I'm gone, so it doesn't feel like I've been gone very long, but for me, it feels like I've been gone for a month. But I appreciate you all. Thank you for being so supportive. I appreciate you for watching, and very excited for the future, and it'll be exciting to see the audience's reaction when the rest of my audience watches today's tech video and they see the new background and everything. So, anywho, thank you all for watching. You guys are amazing. I love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.